Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ian.is.weird. So today I'm going to finish off Night of the Living Dead. Now this I started yesterday, and this is the 1968 movie, and I was out of energy totally and completely. So I am going to try to finish it. And I also have an order that I'm trying to finish. I just put a sale on my Etsy shop until the end of the month, so that's August 2024. So no matter whether you are looking for a finished product or you are looking for yarn, I do sell and make hand-dyed yarn. I'm in the process of working on some different colorways, so I'm really excited about that. And I also have 2 patterns up. So if those intrigue you at all, you can go on my page. They're 25% off right now, which is a pretty good deal, especially considering how I price my yarn, I think. The one thing is that a lot of the products, they, because of how you have to sell them in the European Union, they don't currently ship there, but if you are there and you want to ship to you, just message me and we can figure something out. There's nothing about this. I have to do a law in the European Union for shipping, where I had stuff. I can't quite remember at this point. It's been a while since I created that shipping profile. So if you want to come hang out with me, feel free. I got restreamed to work. It looks a little bit different past couple days. So yeah. So currently, I'm wrapping up a packet, and I love making these because they bring other people joy and happiness, and that's part of what I love to do the most. So so I am currently at the point where I'm filling um, the shaft so that I could finish off the head of the packer. Now, if you don't know what a packer is a prosthetic penis that people who are trans masculine, um, cosplay and want to have just some additional bulk and things they're there to kind of give them more appearance that they want. For me, it's something that I do wear as a trans man, and I really like mine. And so if you want the pattern is free. It is not my pattern. It is by, I was a pattern tester on the pattern, and I did, so that was really cool to be able to do. And the pattern is free for anyone who wants to use it. So you can use it if you so desire. Hold on a second. There we go. So this is hooked up to this, which I don't want it to be. So I'm gonna hook my Roku up to my sorry, the audio was weird. I didn't realize that my headphones were hooked up to my computer. So sorry about that. Sometimes it pretends like it has some kind of audio input, but I'm not convinced because every time I've tried to take a call in these headphones, it's just not worked out well. So I really don't know what's going on, but okay. My cat might make an appearance. He's currently been hiding under the bed the whole time, so we'll see if he wants to come hang out, if he wants to be laying and just be under the bed. So yeah, let's get this started now. Oh, is it gonna be a little bitch and be like, okay, connected. Okay, so let's get started on this. Hopefully it will get me back to where I was. I have to remember where I was watching it, because apparently it's on a couple different things. I wonder if I was watching it on Max. I don't really remember. My stomach is like, fuck off. Okay, could not have been there. Okay, so now I have to find where it was. They're coming for you, Barbara. I feel like I was about halfway through the movie, and that was that. Let's see. She's having a full blown freak out. Yeah, we went through that. Oh wait, let me look. Okay, so it's coming upstairs. But yeah, okay, so not even halfway through. So someone's clearly been murderized up in this house. That is clearly a fake arm. Maybe, I don't know. It look real. I don't know. The killers are eating the flesh. Hi, Lydia. Welcome in. She is not doing well, y'all. She's not doing well. She's like, they keep on repeating. They're eating the flesh. They're coming for you, Barbara. They keep on going over the same details. I'm alright, Lydia. How are you? And I'm telling you, I'm not going. Dude's bad. Uh, I'm under the weather, bad allergies, no voice. Oh, I'm so sorry, Lydia. Yeah, no, they've been hitting extra hard. My um, allergies, allergy season, I feel like always like late in the fall is always harder on me than the spring. Y'all, the menses are arguing while Barbara's being useless over there. Of course, being interrupted by a Chick-fil-A commercial. Okay. I'm working on a packer order that I have. Um, so, and should be able to ship it out tomorrow. I can uh, print the label. I had some trouble printing on the I don't think I'll ever get over the line of like, they're coming for you, Barbara. Because I've heard it before. I just didn't know it was from this movie. So yeah, I'm working on finishing this up. I forgot to do my around. Just move that back. Just like lots of hands. So at this point, no one's figured out what causes them. For the first time, we've seen one get shot in the heart and has not stopped them. Guy gets shot. The zombie gets shot again. And okay, now we get a shot in the head. Probably the most special effects makeup we've seen. Okay, now there's a lot of them. Just wandering around. One's naked. A woman with very coiffed hair, but of course she is naked. Because that makes the most sense, right? One with really just horribly applied makeup. Ooh, this makeup is so bad. Why? She's trying to eat a bug off a tree. Okay, that makes sense. Zombies love bugs off trees. Oh, damn, this guy is laying into them. Like, if you're gonna go hide in the cellar, that's your own problem. You got a kid, it's her problem that her dad's so stupid that he's gonna go into the cellar. Like, this guy's pulling no punches, and I appreciate that in a zombie movie because there's gotta be someone who's just like, there's gotta be someone who's just like, nah, this is bullshit. That girl is not that guy's daughter. He's literally the same age as her, but okay. I'm alive and not. Yeah, I know. But sometimes you're just not going to be in the mood. I had to take a couple of days off, and that's just how it is sometimes. You know, he's in for a little bit. So now you have to go in at the end and do some definition. Oh, she's reading him down too. This guy doesn't stand a chance. Mass murders. That's how they. In this dungeon. Ooh, we may not enjoy living together, but dying together is not going to solve our problems. Oh wait, so that's not. Wait, I guess that is his daughter. Which again, she looks exactly the same age. She's a full-grown adult, just like him. They made it act like that was like a 5-year-old. That's not a 5-year-old. There is a young girl, but she is the child of another family. I'll take care of her, Helen. They're coming for you, Barbara. Okay. So now that I've done that little detail, this freak of nature, Barbara, is like trying to read something in the lace overlay of the flat of the couch. She's very, very weird, y'all. Just throw her to the zombies. Try to figure out what works, what doesn't, because she's pretty much useless. She's dead weight. He's like, there's a million weak spots, and you just like knock something off, and then he's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna leave it. Like, complain and do something or don't. Just like, come on, be consistent, no? 15 million of those things. She's like, I definitely married. Just, why don't you do something to help somebody? She knows what's up. Okay, that's fine. You're allowed to not feel good and to take some time to rest. Thank you for showing up. I hope you feel better. Hey Brandon, hopping in. I left my thumb. How are you feeling? I read that you weren't doing so good. Yeah, I mean, I've been having a little bit of a go with depression, and you know, not my bipolar is kind of acting up, but just trying to stick with it and not get into a bad place. And some things help, some things don't. So thank you for hopping in. You're welcome to stay if you can. If you don't want to stay, you don't have to. Always a choice in that. Oh my gosh, this dude is just complaining the whole time. Just get eaten by a zombie already. They are really, really diving into the fact that these people have just been the flesh. They cannot say enough that the flesh has been eaten and devoured. Like, they can't get past that. People who have recently died have been returning. Okay, so this is the first time we're hearing any form of these people are coming back and why they're coming back. It's hard for us to believe what we're reporting, but it does seem to be a fact. So it's telling him to get to the hospital. Again, terrible place for people to congregate in zombie apocalypse. Fire department. Why are space experts being consulted about the Earth? Um, Something, what they say. Okay, so they're saying radiation from a satellite. I'm watching Night of the Living Dead, 1968. Really? Oh, wow. Guess politics doesn't change. Bunch of bumbling idiots. So, wow, they're fighting on like national news. And they're like arguing. Like, I thought we agreed that we weren't going to tell anybody that because we weren't sure. Only about 17 miles from here in the Southwards. Dude, this. Man, this guy is just a fucking stick in the mud. Then I'm going to hand apply some yarn. Oh, hand apply some yarn on a drop spindle. That's so cool. So I'm finishing a packer. So I sell these on my Etsy shop. So I'm finishing a non-binary packer, and then yeah, there it is. Bye. That's really cool. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing, and then I'm gonna send that out tomorrow. I put a sale in my shop that includes some of my hand-dyed cotton. So 25% sale on my whole Etsy shop. If you want to try out some of my hand-dyed cotton. And if you want more than one hank, message me because I dye them in small batches. So and then I can, like, it doesn't have to be shipping per item. You can ship the whole. Soak them with gasoline and burn them. The dubious comforts that a funeral can give. Okay, so we're gonna go back to working on. Now they're making Molotov cocktails. Your hand-dyed cotton. I saw there's some neon on there. Yeah, so the one color I have is like a neon rainbow. It's very bright. Let me show you what I forgot. So in some lights it looks really super bright. Some it looks a little less bright, but it's all very, very bright. So here's a rainbow hank. This is the lace weight, the lace 10. And then I have 2 4s already dyed. So yeah, this is the latest, the neon rainbow. But I have black so that I can do the non-binary. I'm gonna do the trans flag. Pretty much, I'm just gonna keep most of them bright for right now because I really like that. And disability hasn't come in, and we're getting ready to go to Vietnam September 2nd. Now I'm in Vietnam for a month. Oh, I totally, yeah, waiting for that disability is. Oh, I get it. I get it. Vietnam sounds amazing though, and um, I've heard that once you get there, things tend to be very cheap. So I hope that that's true. For some reason, this lady is just like, I've got a pair of scissors, and I'm gonna hold it like this. So weird. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, there will be other sales, and hopefully we time that better. I really wanted to get some UV reactive dye, but I haven't found any that is made for like cellulose fibers, so like plant-based fibers. There are some wool fibers, uh, wool dyes that react to animal fibers that are UV reactive, but I have not found any for plant-based. So it would be really cool to have that as like a black light type situation. I forgot to have my water in here. Okay, now she's his wife, but he was talking about his daughter. Some plot holes, but 1960. Okay, now they're kissing on the mouth. Definitely not. Hopefully not. Father and daughter. And I think what I'm gonna do tomorrow is so I I finished up my my hook holder that was based on a hook holder that I got from Furls on it was a free gift with purchase. Um, Now there are a couple things I have to change. My measurements didn't match up exactly. Well, I mean they did match up, but because this is um, uh, a much firmer leather. Again, I'm just gonna call this not leather, like because if it's if it's leather, it's got to be like genuine leather, like cheapest. Like it's technically leather, but not great. Super thin, feels very like vinyl-y, but because it's thicker, and then also because it just doesn't have as much give where the hook holds. Um, if you try to put a hook inside of it, it doesn't like the bend. It needs like an extra like inch and a half. So it needs like an extra inch and a half to really give that space to that hook head to give it that uh, top. And then I was thinking once I got that right, then I might order a custom stamp with a smiley for my logo. But I do, so I'll have like a single, and then I was thinking of doing like a double where I have two of these kind of back to back, like sewn together so that you can carry two like of your nice hooks at a time. They're sewn together. You can pull one open, just use that one hook, close it up, whatever. Easy to just put in a bag, your like project bag. Your yarn's not going to get all tangled up in it. And then eventually, maybe string like 4 to 6 of these together and have it be like a project roll where you tie it up all at the end, and then you just can put it in a project bag for like longer trips if you don't know exactly what hook size you're going to be using. And I thought that would be really cool. But right now, I've got smileys on the inside, and so mine is on the outside as well. I also got a stitching clamp, and it hooks to the table I'm working on so that I can stitch a little bit easier so that I don't shave the leather down a tiny bit. So that's actually really hard to do. I tried to do that with a much thicker leather, and even that was really hard to do. Now, and it's not just that; it's kind of a little bit of everything. It's not just that because like with the what I have keeping this part stiffer is thicker than the acetate or whatever they put in here. So that is making it thicker as well. And then it's just not long enough. So if I just made the tab long enough, it would be fine. Like everything else works just fine if I just made the tab longer. I don't even need to make it wider necessarily. And yeah, that would be fine. But yeah, so all of this is like hand stitched with the pleating of the leather. You can kind of see right there. I also didn't love how when I used the contact cement, some of it got on parts that were already dyed, so I couldn't remove it, and therefore it kind of messed with the appearance of the dye. I want to get my dyeing process a little bit more even, just so it looks a little bit nicer. Yeah, it's not so much that, because like it's really like from here to here would need to be thinner all throughout. So it would be kind of like there's no real smooth, easy way to just have that whole part be thinner. I mean, because like leather doesn't really work like a clay or something like that. Leather is more like working with meat. Like it's like, and I like meat, and I could probably sand it down, but even then it just doesn't. It's very different. I don't know. I don't have anything to compare it to because when I sew, and I sew with most fabrics, I just don't really have that much of a problem with being with things like this, and this you have to be a lot more precise about it. Also, like there's some gaps between where like the leather meets on the outside, where you can see that the dye. I didn't go for far enough in with the dye because I didn't think I needed to. And here, the stitching is like right up to the edge, pretty much, whereas I gave myself a little bit more seam allowance hand sewing, which I guess I don't need to, but I did. So I could let out the seam allowance a little bit, and that would help. But the hook itself is pretty secure in there. Now, if you by chance have a hook that is a little larger than Furl's hook, let's see if this works. So this, I think, is about the widest. Yeah, see this hook from Etsy just goes in just fine. And it's shorter than a Furl's, so it can go in there just fine. Have you dyed it? But could you have dyed it before you glued and sewed it together? I did. I did dye it before I did all that. But because this was my first prototype, I was kind of like playing with like what's the best order to do things in, and so if there were some things that I thought it would be better to do in a certain order that maybe wasn't the best order. But with everything, I just feel like it's I feel like the overall order I did things in that probably actually was the best order I could have done things in, because I was gonna do things in a different order, dye them later, stuff like that. Because you see, part of the reason I think that the stain is a little uneven is because the leather wasn't fully dry because I'm super impatient. So you have to wet the leather. So you cut the pieces, and then if you're going to do any embossing in the leather, you need your leather to be damp. And so I like on this piece, I like turned on the faucet and it just was like way more water than I was expecting. Um, so it just soaked the leather. So I embossed it, but it took a long time for it to dry as a result. Um, and and then some of the getting the dye to be even was just a little bit harder. So I think what I'm gonna do is also take it to the leather shop and just be like, hey, like where, what, how, what's the best way to do it? Because once it's all, because but you can always go back in with the dye, and like so in these splits where I have the dye not going in enough, what would be easier instead of going back in with the dye and touching them up? Oh, we're having a fight amongst the men's. About time that guy just got his ass beat. He's, um, and but when I dye it, I can just dye further in. So I'll dye the front side, and I'll just dye, maybe like a quarter of an inch in, because you set your stitch uh, length or width, and you kind of scratch a line into how. I feel like I missed something very important, but I can't quite decide. Um, so yeah, so there's definitely some changes to be made. Also, there now typically I'll try to. They're supposed to be like playing, like eating the intestines, but it's clearly just like it's clearly raw. And then yeah, that's like Jello. That's cooked turkey leg. That's definitely cooked meat on a bone. That's just looking like maybe ketchup off of a. Oh my gosh, that makeup is just falling off of his face. Oh no. But one thing that you typically do with a lot of the edges of leather is you take a what's it called, a beveler, and you kind of scrape the edge of it so that it's not as rigid, and or not rigid, but like a 90-degree angle. And uh, this I tried doing that, and because this leather is so thin, uh, it uh, it just was too thin, and um, ooh, you find out the kid got bit. Yes, this is from the same big big piece of leather that I have rolled up. Now I have like some thicker pieces that I got from I have had some belt leather, but I bought a bigger roll. Now Tandy is having their like National Leather Day like sale right now. So I could get leather cheaper right now if I wanted to buy new leather. However, that doesn't seem like a wise decision. Um, I might get some. I feel like dyes are like good, and hardware is good to get when it's on sale. So yeah, I cut this all from its own big piece. So this is 3 different pieces from that same sheet. So the back piece is one, the front shorter piece is one piece, which is wider, and so the bottom is sewn and pleated, and then the top is wider, so it'll um, accommodate the hook, and then there's a thin strip of leather that doesn't really need to be sewn. It just has 2 stitches on each side that are sewing it to the side, so that yeah. So that's what that is right now. So it still needs some work, but I think if I can get it to where I want it, then it would be pretty cool to have um, be a little traveling case. But I do want to make something that is unique because even though Furls doesn't sell this um, themselves anymore. Or they never really sold it, as far as I know. It's not even on their website. You can't really just Google it. Um, uh, uh, I don't want like an exact copy of something because that just doesn't feel right. Um, this police chief is like, yeah, got it. They're dead. They're all messed up. I think I'll probably decrease my width um, on the sides because I don't feel like I need that much. Odyssey furl hook, and since they're all metal, I just printed my 3D printer case to hold them all separately. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, not everyone has a 3D printer, and also like for me, it's this is something that's this has been really helpful, uh, especially with because I use it. This oh my gosh, it looks like anal beads. You can't unsee it, right? So this is the Odyssey. This is not the Odyssey. This is the Candy Shop hook, the B hook, or C. It's 3.75, and the head. I already broke one of these. Luckily, it was within the time frame they would replace it. But like the 4 millimeters and 4.5 millimeters and all that stuff down, like those tend to break. And if you have a resin hook, and even if you don't have a hook that's likely to break, if you just put your hook in a bag, it can hook into your project and stuff like that. So I have really liked having this. It helps me find my hook a lot easier if it's just tucked in with all of this other shit. So some people really like having um, stuff like this, and people will have other alternatives. That's kind of the point, is like just to have options. I think if I can get like a hook roll that's kind of like, for me as someone who did makeup for so long, and like as them like a makeup brush roll was like a thing that you always had. um, it was it was a nice thing to just like be able to, like, if I wanted all my hooks, I could, or all my brushes, I could just have them like that. Now with hooks, I think it's a little bit different, because maybe you just want to take one out, or you want to know what you have available. This dude is acting a straight up fool. And also just like letting it be like letting letting these be hook cases for not just just for furls hooks, but for all types of ergonomic hooks, because I mean there's a lot that get yeah, and see these, yeah, I could see, especially with the metal Odyssey hooks, and now the Odyssey hooks aren't like, this dude's gonna die and eat his daughter. Is that what's gonna happen? This is hilarious. The drama of it all, hilarious. Because like the good thing about this is like it keeps the furl hook in the in the uh, oh wait, now the little girl is a zombie because she got bit earlier, and now she's eating her dad's arm even though he just died. Now she's gonna eat her mom, maybe. Oh no, she's gonna get eaten. And the zombie little girl has got her trouble, and she's gonna. This is. Oh my gosh, that's definitely like a rat squeak noise. Oh, this is excellent cinema. Oh my gosh, and it's echoing. She's a zombie, but wouldn't she just eat her? I do, and my wife hates it. But I try to keep it in a movie theater. I try to keep it like respectful, but I do say some stuff. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But like, um, but that's the kind of thing. It's like I'm watching a movie. Like you are not watching a movie. You're not. You might. You could be. If I said, "Hey, we're watching this tonight," you could be watching it with me, or you could be just doing your own thing. But it's not very fun for me to just like watch the movie. Um, it's not very fun for me to just like sit here and not say stuff. So I'm just like, nah, I figure, because I tried that, not exactly that, but I tried that. I think maybe last year, and it was nobody really showed up to it. So I was like, yeah, let's do something different. There's the first zombie we saw. There's a little zombie girl. Okay, so is everybody dying? That guy just tossed that little girl. He's gonna give a fuck. You're a little girl. You are a zombie, bitch. So now I'm trying my hand at Tunisian crochet. It's been going well so far. I'm trying to make a chest binder, and I've heard that the Tunisian knit stitch, of all the crochet, knit, and Tunisian crochet stitches, is the least stretchy. Now, I don't know if I agree with, like, I mean, it definitely stretches quite a bit this way, but then obviously it stops because it can only stretch so much. But it doesn't have a lot of width stretch, so maybe that's what they were talking about. Nobody decided to inform me that they were, in fact, whoever gave that measurement was in fact talking about this. Um, this widthwise strength. Okay, now that guy's coming back to life. Um, so once it stretches as much as uh, it can, then it's not going to stretch anymore. But I'm also using cotton, so the cotton can only stretch so much. And she's coming back too. It's also really interesting because this movie was made in 1968, which they don't say exactly where they are, but the cast is all white except opposite direction where you're going long ways instead of short ways. Yeah, so the thing is, my hand hurts so much, and by the time I learned that that's what they were talking about, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to restart this. So it might, like, this hurts my hand so much. So I'm just gonna handle what I've got, because really I don't need it to stretch anyway. Because and actually it's probably better that it doesn't stretch the way that it doesn't stretch, because if I can get it around me this way, I'm planning on doing some like corset lacing type of back thing. Um, but if it didn't stretch this way, then where it would where it would show the most shape, where I wouldn't want it. So I think that this is actually the way I want it to go, but I thought it wasn't going to stretch like anyway at all. Because if someone says your stitches aren't going to stretch, I would think that you would assume that I would assume that it wouldn't stretch like any of the ways, but I guess not. I don't know. It's been pretty cool to learn how to do Tunisian crochet. It hurts my wrist quite a bit in my hand, so I have to uh, and then also to stop the curl. So I had heard that the knit stitch would curl pretty bad, but I actually am not experiencing any curl at all. So I'm a little like, what's going on there? Maybe I don't I don't know what's going on. I watched this video on how to reduce the curl, but so I'm following that a little bit, but not really enough to like just stop it completely. The first couple rows are simple stitch. You do like the knit crochet stitch, and you do a single crochet, and then when you come back, you crochet into the single crochet. I don't know that I would have recommended that as a binder. I would use the knit crochet stitch. Is it crochet stitch? Is it crochet, knit, or Tunisian crochet? And then what's the name of the stitch? Sorry, I'm a little confused. Because if you're doing the classic like stockinette, not stockinette. If you were just knitting, would be knit purl, knit purl, knit purl, right? So, and then if you do the knit stitch with crochet, yeah, I'm using the smallest recommended, or using on the smaller side of the recommended, which is a 6.5 millimeter. It's all I have, so I mean that's all I could do. But it's a regular crochet stitch, and so you're talking about the knit stitch. Wait, what just happened? Did they just kill the main character? Yeah, so there's like there's one called the knit stitch, but it's called something else too. But yeah, if you can find it for me. Oh, so they just killed the guy that was not a zombie. Even though he survived all the zombies. That's fucked up. And then there's like weird pictures. This is really strange. This is so weird. The waistcoat stitch. Yeah. Yeah. So that actually stretches more than the okay, so this movie was dumb. It wasn't, well, it's old, but it's also like it's very strange that they killed everyone. That was a movie. Yeah, no, I know the stitch you're talking about though. Yeah, I don't think anyone can post a link in my chat except me. No, I know the stitch you're talking about where you go into the V. But so that stitch actually stretches more than the Tunisian crochet. So like if you're lining up that stitch, just a regular alternating knit and purl pattern for the knit stitch, and then you're doing the Tunisian knit stitch. Uh, the crochet one is going to be the most stretchy, and the Tunisian crochet is going to be the least stretchy. So that's what across the board I heard. Yeah, and so this one is the least stretchy, partially because you're doing 2 layers of fabric kind of underneath. So it's because it's thicker, it doesn't have like it's going to stretch to its maximum, and then it will not stretch anymore. And so that's why it has that additional uh, less stretchy component to it. So it's not really that like light breathy, very drapey fabric. It's exactly where it's gonna be. But I've done the waistcoat stitch before. Yeah, I forgot what it was called. I've always just referred to it as a knit stitch. I did it using, I had some loops and threads, yarn that they did a sample of. You know how sometimes Michaels will do like their samples, like their swatches, and they did it with this yarn, and I just fell in love with the yarn. It was just like, it looks so good. So it's like, I'm not gonna knit it, but I will uh, do crochet, and it, it was it was hell on my hands, but it was crochet. It wasn't Tunisian crochet. Yeah, that's what I was planning. I was planning on having doing like just doing some doing a crochet border to get it a little bit wider, um, because I don't have it out here right now, but I have had the measurements from the binders that I wear, and so this is kind of close to the binders that I wear, so I can add a crochet border and give it a little bit more structure, um, and that'll add even less stretch. I guess I don't want that much less stretch, but um, it won't add more. Um, so yeah, I was planning on doing a border. Yeah, the thing is, this is cotton. It's 100% cotton. It's not a cotton mix, so it's not gonna stretch any more than it's gonna stretch. It's a 4 weight, and this is, I guess, it's just the fact that I did a 6.5 millimeter Tunisian crochet hook, because that's what I thought I should go to, and this is what I had. Um, but yeah, it does have like just, and probably due to just changes in tension and stuff like that across the work, I can definitely tell where I like picked it up, put it down, because there is some change in the tension in the work. And that, like, no matter what your stitch is, like if you change your tension, you're gonna see inconsistencies in the stretchiness of a certain work. So that's to be expected. Um, but yeah, pretty much like once you get it to its final, like as stretchy as it's gonna be, it's not gonna stretch any like further than that. It's not really capable of that. I wish that this pearl side was not against my skin, because I don't really. I mean, it's definitely not as smooth as the knit side, but it also, I don't want the pearl side outward because I wanted, this is for drag, and I wanted to cover my chest in a way that was um, smooth looking. I bought some binders that I can't fit into, and I also wanted to have something be a little bit less bindery looking. So we'll see. I'll give it a try. Oh, when you said line it with some cotton, I just got what you were saying. So you're saying go on the inside. I thought you were saying like do it like put a border on it. No, I got it. I got what you're saying now. I'm there now. But I'm gonna let you go. So we just finished Night of the Living Dead. It's a very strange intro to the. We've done a couple zombie movies before this. Very interesting. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Honestly, with how it's so like the fabric that they put on the fabric that they put on the inside of uh, those binders are it's compression binder, it's compression fabric in the front, but then which is more than just like a cotton. It's like it's I don't even know like what compression fabric is totally made out of, but it is like no give. Like cotton will like just like if you just like got like your regular cotton fabric, it wouldn't have much give, but it would also tear under the sheer duress that I'm putting under it, especially towards the back when I start doing like the lacing, it would tear through the eyelets and stuff like that. I would definitely need to have something stronger. So that would be something to think about that I could maybe add to it to make it more comfortable on the skin. But having the added bulk there, it's just so much. It's just so much, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go, but I will talk